today. We are many here, and it is a demonstration of the success of the Ahmadiyya mission in Sierra Leone. May God put more blessing to let you succeed in spreading the message in our country. I've been following development for almost. Fortunately, I've traveled very, very widely within Africa, where we've been able to be exposed to the different versions of Islam. As my colleague from Côte d'Ivoire mentioned, maybe there was a technical difficulty in translating the support he's asking for. But I managed to understand a little bit of French. I think I have been privileged to find out in East Africa, in Southern Africa, in West Africa, where the threat to the successful spread of Ahmadiyya is very, very strong. Because you have taken an approach of formalizing this Islam, which is against the other version of Islam, which is being spread with the guns and with moral corruption, that poses a threat. Even in my little country of Sierra Leone, those who have been there know exactly the competition, which is getting very, very intense to of the people. But fortunately, the Ahmadiyyas have taken an approach through formal education, through your other social and economic activities to convince Sierra Leoneans that you can win the hearts and minds of people without the gun. You can win the hearts and minds of people by making them be independent, by making them be self-respectable, by making them be productive. I hope you continue with that.
Now, do you also realize that this is being transmitted live to Sierra Leone?
I'm very much appreciative of that, because what I'm coming to talk to you about...
Many people in Sierra Leone would watch you with pleasure and some with a bit uneasiness.
Well, I'm very, very happy, because one person who will be very much appreciative that I stand here talking to you today is one person who introduced me to Ahmadiyya, who one time made the foreign minister, but he was only there for a short while. That is Dr. M.L. Kamara.
That's right, yes.
He's a relative, he's a friend. He represents all what Ahmadiyya stands for in Sierra Leone, the moral uprightness. You know what is going on in our country today, the last 5 years? Fortunate situation. Before I go into that, let me thank you for the support you gave to our people during this celebration of the Eid. We had what contribution our people to let them at least come out of the sound of gun, respectable, to follow the Eid celebration after fasting by providing food and other amenities for them. On behalf of all Sierra Leoneans, we thank you very much for that. May God increase the bounty where it comes from. We want to appeal to you. The situation in that country, especially the Ahmadiyya mission, through your blessing, is very worrying. People are dying, people are displaced. We just don't know where to start from. We just don't know who will come and help us, relieve us from this curse which has been imposed on us. I have been fortunate to be in East Africa. I have seen where the spread of Islam by the gun is taking control. I've been to some parts of South Africa where I've seen the spread of Islam through the gun is taking control. I was in Uganda last April when one prominent Islamic foreign minister has the audacity to tell all of us standing there that the liberation of Africa can only be achieved through the process which he has gone through in his own country. Right. And that is no other person but Veliati. I have to challenge Veliati. We don't need guns in Africa. We need machete to brush the field to plants. We don't need rocket-propelled grenade in Africa. We need tractors to farm. But please, if this is the message you want to bring in, you can go back and tell your mullahs they will never succeed, because we will take them on until the end of the continent of Africa. We need peace. We have suffered too much. And that is why I came here today, and I must be grateful to my Ahmadi friends who brought me here. I enjoyed it in Islamabad last Friday, one of the happiest days in my life.
Alhamdulillah.
I was so pleased. I was so happy. I went home, I slept. The next morning, I came to tell one of my friends, I said, don't give me any present anymore. You have given me the best present.
Beautiful. Yes.
And I must say, please, I appeal to you. I brought a prominent guest here today, a very, very prominent guest. And with his permission, I will introduce him. He's a High Court judge of Sierra Leone, Al-Haji Tajuddin. He stands there.
Would you kindly trouble him to step forward and come and
I went
speak
to
a few words to his countrymen through the Ahmadiyya television, please. You're most welcome. Assalamu alaikum. Thank you. Thank you very much.
I went to talk to him on Friday.
Just a short observation. Please come forward. A short observation, one light-hearted and the other is a bit more serious. You know, when this gentleman from Ivory Coast was addressing us in English, he was French, he referred to Ivory Coast as Ivory Coast. And when you were speaking of Ivory Coast speaking in English, you said Côte d'Ivoire.
Côte d'Ivoire.
Is it out of courtesy for him?
Yes, it's out of
That's
courtesy
right.
for him.
Finally, you thanked me for what the Ahmadiyyat is doing in Sierra Leone to alleviate the suffering of the people to the best of their ability. And you have been feeding the poor, and sometimes at large scale, in fact. My answer to that is in terms of an answer which the Holy Quran teaches us, which Allah in fact taught Hazrat Muhammad Rasulullah. He said, when you feed the poor, they say, thank you, Jazakallah, this and that. The answer to that should be, إِنَّمَا نُطْعِمُكُمْ لِوَجْهِ اللَّهِ لَا نُرِيدُ مِنْكُمْ جَزَاءً وَلَا شُكُورًا. We feed you only for the sake. So please do not express any gratitude, because the one whom we want, he knows. And if we mix this with our own intentions of being responded to in terms of gratitude and this, then the relationship with God would suffer a little bit in accordance with the pleasure the gratitude gives us. That is the philosophy underneath. So my answer to that is, thank you so much for your kindness, but we have what I here is only for the sake of Allah, and no one owes us any gratitude. Allah bless you. Now please, Mr.
My name is Abdul Salam Williams.
No, I know, but your honorable guest's name.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
I'm Al-Hajj Justice Mukhtaru Ola Tajuddin.
All right. Please come a bit closer to the microphone. Yes. How long have you been here in England?
Just about 2 months.
Just 2 months.
I was in New York for about 2 months.
Right. Is it a short official visit or private visit?
Well, it's a private visit.
Right, okay.
I've come to see my family and partly official.
Right.
You know. And
So please.
I must say I'm extremely moved by my brother here to bring me to this wonderful assembly, and I thoroughly enjoy it. I must say you are doing a damn good work in my country. I'm very, very much impressed. I've traveled extensively in Sierra Leone during the course of my job, and I think the Ahmadiyya movement, they're doing a wonderful job.
Thank you so much.
They've got schools, hospitals, clinics, and as you have said, they're really helping some of the indigenous people to start on their own.
That's right.
As far as small industries are concerned,
Right.
which I personally appreciate very much.
Thank you so
And
much.
I think it's a wonderful opportunity to be here today and to see in person.
You're most welcome.
Yeah, may
I
God
hope-
bless.
Yeah, this is the first contact, isn't it,
Yeah.
between you and us?
Yeah.
But certainly not the last.
I hope so. And may God bless
Right.
you for your
Thank you.
endeavors.
Thank you very much.
Assalamu alaikum.
Now there is one little question by the first earlier speaker, that we should do whatever we can in other fields as well. Perhaps he meant by other fields the political situation, the war situation as it prevails, which seems merely a war of attrition, without any aim, without any end. So I must remind you, and Sierra Leoneans who are watching this program there as well, we have many dish antennas installed in Sierra Leone. Some have gone to the rebel areas, of course, but I hope they have not destroyed them, and they are also listening to us. Now the point is that this, I have tried to resolve the mystery, to solve the mystery of this war. This is a very mysterious war. It has its roots in foreign factors. It's not a localized affair. On this issue, I'm so certain once a highly connected and highly respected and well-known politician of England who accepted my invitation to dine with me. He was well-versed with the affairs of Sierra Leone. And from his talk, I realized that most of the public opinion is misled by the same agencies which are responsible for all this. And he had an idea that Sierra Leone situation is a localized situation where the northern tribes, not Timonis, are in fact rebelling against the influence of Mendes from the south. And it is the Timini leadership which is doing this. So I told him it's absolutely wrong. There is no iota of truth in this. Timonis and Mendes all suffer together alike at the hands of rebels. And they have no respect for any institution, neither for religious institutions, nor for educational institutions, nor for healthcare institutions. And they just burn and scorch earth and run away with whatever they can rob. So it has two elements, foreign elements, playing their role in it. One is related to Mr. Taylor of Liberia, who was promised some influence in Liberia, who was trained for that purpose, but ultimately he was deprived of all those promises.
Exactly.
So they want him to have a chunk of Sierra Leone, to help himself, and to rob Sierra Leone freely, and nobody is going to interfere, and nobody is interfering.
That's what he's doing now.
See? And the second part is a revenge for a contract which was cancelled out between Sierra Leone and Israel.
Yes.
A few years ago, a contract was signed between Israel and the government of Sierra Leone, giving monopoly to Israel for extracting diamonds, etc., and gold, everything.
Yeah, gold, yeah.
Which was worthy. Which could bring cash to the economy. Entire contract with a monopoly, but also to guard the borders and work as truly government representative immigration officers, and to control the tariffs as well. This was the biggest faux pas in the history of your political life. And it was a suicide. Voice was raised against this, and ultimately the then government of Mr. Joseph Momo was compelled to cancel that. But as they had unwisely rushed into the contract, again unwisely they rushed out of it, tried to rush out of it. But they would be punished. That was the mood prevailing among the people who were to gain all advantages from these contracts. And they have their role to play in Liberia, and they are in contact with Mr. Taylor, etc., and all that. So these two seem to be the motive forces of all this. And as far as the Sierra Leone itself is concerned, the unfortunate situation there is that many in the Sierra Leone armies have been again duped under one pretext or another to create an impression that it's better for you to side with these two influences. It is patriotic on their part. Once they're convinced of it, then the concerted joint effort of the army, which is so much needed to bring peace back to this to unfortunately disturbed land, they further aggravate the situation. And some cruel decisions have to be taken on the part of the government to behead a few, to imprison a few, with further chain reactions. It's a very difficult situation. What we have been doing is, quietly, I have been informing the leaders of public opinion outside as to what really is taking place, and to trying to convince them to, for God's sake, do something now. Otherwise, a country is being destroyed before your very eyes, and you will be held responsible in the sight of God, if you believe in God, to let these things happen like that, continue to happen like that. So this is my brief, this is my brief discourse on my understanding of events and my response to those events. I hope you will agree with the analysis to be correct. If not, then I would like to be corrected.
No, I must say, I'm very much impressed. You know, you are well conversant with the situation back over there, even than most of us over there. And personally, I feel this particular rebel incursion is uncalled for, is unnecessary, and is senseless.
Right.
I mean, killing people for no apparent reason, looting their property, God alone knows what's happening. But I think with some outside help and prayer, we hope that this unnecessary war would soon come
help I'm trying to get through, educating the leadership of public opinion elsewhere.
Yes.
That's what I'm just doing. Thank you.
I must congratulate you. You are well conversant with the situation over
Thank
there.
you.
God bless. Very appreciative of it.
Okay, thanks very much.
Thanks very much.
Next, please.
Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.